Good evening and welcome back to the channel. As the thumbnail says, it's my experience over the last 12, well, longer than that now, 12, 15 months of wandering around in Walter, of the lies that you see on YouTube and the truths that actually happen while you're wandering around and doing this sort of lifestyle. I class myself as a van lifer, even though it's a motorhome. It's not a van, but to me, I'm doing the same sort of thing. Oh, before I forget, don't play with your drone in a small space, because this is what happens. You end up with holes. So don't play with drones. It's just a few things to go over of what sort of experiences I've had. After watching the YouTube, the usual social media, and then doing it in reality is completely different to actually what you see, if that makes sense. So first thing is locations. You see on YouTube these fantastic locations of beautiful sunsets and things like that. But in my experience, the reality is it can be from anywhere from an industrial estate. See, it's not exactly the most beautiful and picturesque place on the planet where I'm parked up. And this is why I'm going to move to being in a car park on a shopping centre. But the other side of the coin, you get some fantastic places to stay. But it's a lovely little place, is this. Far better than the other park I was at last night. Like I said, I was only stopping there for a night. You know, what I experienced through France and Spain was fantastic, and I'm looking forward to doing that again. So when they say on YouTube, yeah, it's great, it's a fantastic lifestyle, the reality is that you're gonna end up with some really pretty poo places that you just put up with for a night and then move on. That's the reality of it. So don't listen to the lies of it's a perfect lifestyle. It's not. You're going to get some terrible places. You're going to feel a little bit vulnerable as well. I've been into some places where I've locked everything down. I put the seat belts through the door handles on the doors, and for a single bloke, and I'm not exactly small, it still felt a little bit intimidating. And so the following day I buggered off. So that's just the first one. The second one is maintenance on your van. Your van will break down. It doesn't matter how much preparation you do, how much you carry around with you, it's going to break down. You're going to have problems. I overheated in the middle of Spain, and it caused me a lot of problems. But you get over it. You deal with the problem. You deal with it, and you move on. And it's, to be honest, you turn it into a frustration into it's quite entertaining. This. So get decent breakdown cover, and when you get your breakdown cover, make sure that you tell them what size of vehicle you drive. There's no point going for the cheapest option when you don't tell them the size of the vehicle, so they can send somebody out to try and repair you. But if it has to be shipped somewhere, they only come out with a little van, just with a small transit van. It'll cost you a fortune, especially if you're on a motorway, and especially if you're abroad. So be honest. Tell them that your size of your vehicle, tell them the weight. Mine is Walter's 3.2 ton, so I have to tell them that it needs a low loader. So if touch wood I haven't, I do break down and he can't be moved, they know to send a low loader so they can put him on the back. So just be honest, because you're going to need breakdown cover. The other thing as well is travel insurance. If you're going abroad, get travel insurance. I did it the first time and I was stupid. It was a big mistake. When I went back the second time, I made sure I had travel insurance. So if you're going to get travel insurance, shop around. You can get some good deals and you can do it for the time that you're out there, not just for the whole year. But get it, because you only need to have one accident, and all of a sudden you're spending thousands and it's just not worth it just for a few quid. Solar panel and charging and things like that. If you're building a van from scratch, or you've got a motorhome and you want to go and do a bit of wild camping, over wattage your solar panel. That's what I've done. Now this is my own personal opinion. It's not the be end and end all, but with the experience that I've had, I had 2 solar panels on the roof and I had lead acid batteries, and it came in at about 230 watts. Oversized. I've now got over 600 with one LiFePO battery. Ditch the lead acid, go for lithium, because if you want to have power during winter, you've got to have lithium. And I learnt that the hard way last year because I struggled throughout the winter. So if you're building it, build it right, pay the money, get the better stuff. I've gone for Victron. I did it on the cheap, and I should have done it more expensive from the beginning. So if you're going to start from scratch, pay the extra money, get lithium over panel, get a decent MPPT solar panel charger, and get a decent B2B charger from the alternator to your battery, because I had one which was a split charger and it was a waste of time. It served a purpose, but it really didn't do what I wanted to do. So if you're starting off, that's my little gem of advice. And again, it's not the bit. I know there's going to be people out there, oh no, I did this and I did that. I'm only going by my experience. So whether you choose to do it or not, but do your research. That brings me on to the next one. Research, research, research. You cannot get enough of it. I didn't do it enough. So when they tell you online that it's, oh yeah, you get a van, you chuck some stuff in and off you pop and you'll go and see the world and it's fantastic. Now, the reality is, do your research first. Look into it. And I also have a bolt hole where you can go in case your van breaks down. I haven't got that. Luckily, I've got money in the bank, not a great deal. So if I do need to stop in a hotel or a motel or a B&B, I've got the funds to do it. But you must do your research. It's not what they say online where you can just do it and then bugger off. Do your research. It's more fun if you get it right the first time. Parking. Now, like me, I do a lot of off-grid. Most, in fact, 99% of what I do is off-grid. I do not plug in. The only time I've actually done it is twice, when I was over in Europe, and once when I was in this country when I went up to the Lake Districts for a few days with my mates. If your van is taxed, insured and MOT'd, you can park anywhere in the UK as long as there's no restrictions signposted, such as these. So you'll have no problem. If somebody says, like I've had a few months ago, that you're a vagrant, you can't park, it's illegal, it's rubbish. You can park anywhere you want, providing there's no signage. So if it's private property and it clearly states no parking, you can't park on there. If it says no overnight parking and it's a proper metal sign, you can't park on there. So don't listen to what they say online. It says you can park everywhere. You can't. You've got to be savvy and you've got to be respectful of everybody else around you. So, which I've seen in the past, you get some people will post an A4 laminated piece of paper on a lamppost, no parking, no overnight stays and this, that and the other. That is just residents telling you they don't want you there. You can still park there, but be mindful that they probably get a little bit annoyed and they can cause you trouble. They'll call the police and this, that and the other. So Again, online they'll say, oh, you can go anywhere as long as this happens, so that you can, but please be careful of where you're parking. Just be respectful, and the main thing is you stay with nothing, you leave nothing, you take your rubbish with you. Don't leave any waste, don't leave anything. I've seen them online where they've gone and, oh yeah, there's bins and this, that and t'other, but it's all right, we'll take it with you. If you don't have a bin there, don't leave your rubbish. If you do have a bin, use the facilities. It's very simple. Now, the other thing that I've noticed online, which is a lot of bunkum, is you'll see them with all the perfect vans, all fantastic and sparkly and lovely, and I've done a video on this before, where the food, you've got a 3-course gourmet meal and this. The reality is it's a lot of rubbish. There's stuff everywhere. So don't believe the lies that you see where it's perfectly on and it's perfect and everything online. It isn't that at all. It's this, you've got to be tidy. I am not the tidiest, and I admit that, but I do try to keep things in its place. As far as gourmet meals, no. It's not going to happen with me. So when you see these videos, it's all lovely and this, that and t'other. It's staged. It is staged. And then they open the back of the van up and it's this lovely view. It's all staged to get as maximum views as they can get. The reality is, you'll open your back door, it's throwing it down, there's sheep wandering around, it's mooing, and you're eating a jam sandwich because everything's shut, or you just can't be bothered because it's too cold. That's the reality of it. It's fun, but what you see online, no, it's not the same. Always have a backup. The truth of being in a van is that everything breaks at the most unexpected time, and then you're left with something that doesn't work and you can't do anything about it. That's the reality of it. So what I've found is, if you buy something that's to repair something that's broke, buy another one, because 9 times out of 10 it's going to break again. So I've done this a few times, like the tap on the, I've got a whale tap, and they have a spindle in the middle, and it breaks, always does. So I've ended up buying a few of them. So my advice is just to do that, because it'll save you a lot of time and a lot of hassle and a lot of stress. We don't like stress. You're in the van to get rid of stress. Water. Online you'll see, oh, we can always get water. No. I was in a place in Wales, and I went around everywhere to find water, and people will not help you to get water. I'm a bit more savvy now, because that was one of my big mistakes. I wasn't using my brain and I wasn't using other people's experience. Sainsbury's is awesome for free water. People don't like me saying this, but Cemeteries is another one. So if you've got, like I've got the collapsible 10-litre water tub things, if you come across a cemetery or anywhere where there's an outside tap, grab hold of it and put a bit of water in your tank, because you don't know when I'm going to get some more. Toilets is another one. Online, they've never mentioned it where you can get rid of it. I've searched and it's, oh, you can do this. Well, where? There is an app online where there is a public toilet finder. Now, I've used public toilets to dispose of the black waste, and I've never had any problems with doing that. And when I've struggled to not find anywhere, use existing campsites and pay them. They usually charge about £5. Sometimes it's for both to get rid of your waste and to put a bit of water in, or it's just to get rid of your waste. But don't empty it in the woods or on the ground, anything like that, because all you're doing is making it worse for everybody else, and it makes our sort of lifestyle a nightmare. So dispose of it properly. Online, it's, oh, we've got these fancy toilets where they incinerate everything. Yeah, if you've got a fortune to spend on one of them, you're already out every weekend. They're great. Otherwise, you just set fire to your camper van and you'll end up with nothing. So again, do your homework. Be a bit savvy and be respectful. Now, the toilets that I've used in the past, I've always cleaned up after myself. So if there's spillage and splash and everything else, wipe it down, put it away. They don't tell you this online. They don't tell you this at all. I've stood there with my lovely gloves on, wiping down ick from toilet balls, but these things happen. But you know what I mean? You've got to be done. But if you're going to Europe, in Europe, they're great because they've got the facilities there. And a lot of times, 90% they're free to get rid of both black waste, grey waste, and they'll let you fill the water up. A lot of them are free, but a lot of them you do get charged. And again, online, it's, yeah, you can turn up to this place, you get this, that, and t'other. Reality is, it's this broken, and I've seen it, this broken electric box with tape around it, and I'll show you. Or there's some grotty toilet place, Elson Point, and there's all sorts floating around. That's the reality of it. They don't show you that online because it's not a pleasant thing to see, but that's the reality of what you'll see when you're out doing this sort of thing, especially in Europe. Over in the UK, it's pretty clean and tidy, but in Europe, they really don't care. Winter time. I've done this before, and I'm not going to shut up about it because I hated it. There, that's my rant. Winter time, I was unprepared, ill prepared, didn't know what I was doing, and this year I'm far more savvy. Online, they see the winter things when it's all snowing and you're all cosy in your van and you're going, oh, this is nice, and you're looking over this snow field and it's all a nice crisp day and all that kind of stuff. Reality is you're freezing your bits off. You've not got a lot of power left because there's not a lot of sun coming in because the angle of the sun isn't getting to your solar panels and you're not getting a lot of juice in, so you're having to put your engine on to the list goes on. Be prepared. The reality is it's flipping cold, it's flipping miserable, and don't make the mistakes that I did. Put your diesel heater on, get lithium, oversize your panels on your roof. You'll have no problem with electric and you'll have no problem with moistness and damp and things like that. Again, research. I didn't do enough. I didn't listen and I didn't do the research, and it bit me on my bum with a vengeance. Now, winter last year was the wettest winter I think we had on record. It rained and rained and rained. Now, if you've got a van and you'll see them online where it's all lovely, it's all sealed and things like that, rubbish. If it's going to leak, it'll leak. So get yourself some leak-proof stuff. The tape that goes on the roof, the guttering that I've done a video on that before. And the best stuff that you can have in any sort of emergency is a tube of Sikaflex. That stuff sticks like doodah to a blanket and it'll seal anything. It's awesome stuff. Doesn't matter if you've got a brand new van, it will leak if it's got that tendency to do so. I was in France and I was talking to a chap who had a brand new Contiki. Now Walter's 32 years old and his was brand new, and it spent more time in the shop because the roof buckled and it leaked in and they had to basically replace the van. So even new vans can cause problems. So again, what you see online is not indicative to what the reality is. Things will go wrong and just deal with it. You'll be fine. These are all points which I've found out over the last X amount of months. It sounds a bit doom and gloom, but it's just the experience that I've had over these 14, 15 months. I've had a ball and I've had a blast, and I'm hoping that this will continue for many years to come. I patch the leaks up, I fix the van, I get extra bits and bobs, but I also go to some fantastic places. but I also go to some pretty crappy places as well, and you're going to do it. That's the reality. Anyhow, so I hope you've enjoyed this little video. Please like and subscribe. Let's keep this channel growing. And if you've enjoyed this, have a look at the other ones that I've done. And if you want to ask me any questions, my email address is in the description. Just send me an email and I'm more than happy to give a bit of advice. So have a great day. See you later. Bye.